The year's 1997. The big swings paid off. The Fortune are back on top. Terry Mills scores 40 in Game 7 against Pippen's Cavs to earn himself a Finals MVP. This Fortune team looks to define the back half of the 90s. Finals MVP Mills, all-defensive member Michael Jordan, top 10 center Rik Smits, rising point guard Jalen Rose, and former number 1 pick Kobe Bryant. This big five runs as one unit. Jordan may still get the regular season awards, but the desert can now beat you in all kinds of different ways. A new era is nearing, and the Fortune start at the top of the mountain. All right, welcome back. We are indeed at the end of the 1997 season. As you can see, we just won in the NBA Finals for our 3rd championship in the franchise history. This is a very, very good team that is still relatively young with their new star in Kobe Bryant. This team is no longer just defined by Michael Jordan. With Terry Mills being the Finals MVP, we finally have multiple players to define this team's legacy. The franchise isn't completely just tied to Michael Jordan. This is also a team that is locked up long term, at least for our core players. However, we have guys like Dominique Wilkins who will be on expiring contracts that we either need to replace or get back at 37 years old. I'm not sure if getting him back is the right decision. We have all kinds of guys on the back half of this team that are like that are just on one-year deals that we were able to pick up at the beginning of this season here, and it really paid off. And getting into the offseason, Dominique Wilkins goes out as a champion. He retires as a member of the Las Vegas Fortune here. Obviously played a relatively limited role just because he was injured for most of the season. Ended up playing 59 games, so actually played the majority of the season, but 9.8 points per game. Most of the sim was the back half of his career. You see the back half of the prime of Dominique Wilkins was in this save, so you didn't get to see Dominique Wilkins in his true fashion, but was still a solid player till the very end. Guys like Derek Harper, another former Las Vegas Fortune, retires. Buck Williams and Kiki Vandeweghe also retire. Dominique Wilkins and Mark Aguirre are the only two to make the Hall of Fame, and Dominique, Mark Aguirre, Kiki Vandeweghe, and Byron Scott all get their jerseys retired by their respective teams. So I believe that is the first former Fortune to make the Hall of Fame. And the Washington Wizards are now officially going to be a thing. The Washington Bullets are changing their name and everything else here, and a lot of other teams changing their logos as well. Going into the draft lottery here, it is the Knicks, Lakers, and Kings here at the top, but the Sonics will end up with the number 1 pick. This is the Tim Duncan draft. I don't necessarily know if we have the assets to try and trade up. I might go look real quick. There wasn't enough value for us. We'd have to give up Terry Mills or Kobe Bryant, which I don't want to do, and we have pick 30. We might be able to get something there. We still have head coach Gerard Eaton locked down for 2 more years, so we're good. As you can tell, I'm trying to speed through this just a little bit more than I have in past videos so that we can get closer to present day before the series ends. I don't have a specific end year in mind. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to try and get all the way to modern day. I'm going to try and pick an era to just stop at and then leave the rest of history kind of that, just a guess. As Seattle Supersonics are going to take Tim Duncan with the number 1 pick. Los Angeles Lakers are going to take T-Mac. He's going to start his career in LA. He's going to take Kobe Bryant's spot. And Chauncey Billups rounds up the top 3, going to the Dallas Mavericks. The Knicks take Brad Miller with the number 4 pick. And Anthony Parker rounds out the top 5, going to the Kings. Keith Van Horn goes number 6. Stephen Jackson goes number 9. Rick Brunson goes number 15 to the Utah Jazz. And that is about it of what I recognize as well. But I think there are still some valuable pieces out in the draft. Alvin Williams is something that comes to mind. Mark Blount comes to mind. Looking at this roster, we do need a backup point guard, and I think that is really our weak spot. I think we're very solid at center. So I think the very easy pick is to go pick up Alvin Williams. Still some 70s that were taken in the 2nd round here. As for us, Alvin Williams was also 70, so it wasn't necessarily a reach. Team player options will bring back both of them, even though Travis Knight did not play for us at all. I actually might let him walk because that is a relatively big contract. I think that's a little bit above the minimum, so we'll let him walk. Bo Outlaw and Lamont Murray, we'll give them qualifying offers. I don't necessarily know if they're going to come back, though. There's really not a lot we have to replace. 1 shooting guard and 1 power forward. I don't think we're expected to have any open money. Yeah, we are not. So we honestly might lose our guys just because of the lack of bird rights on them, because they're here for 1 year. Charles Barkley's out here unrestricted. Sean Kemp's out here unrestricted. Scottie Pippen's out here unrestricted. So this is a very, very big offseason. Karl Malone's also out here unrestricted. We're seeing a lot of guys hitting their unrestricted free agency, and so it's going to be very interesting to see where these guys go. I'm going to scoop up and offer Paul Graham a 2-year minimum contract here to be our backup shooting guard. And for power forward, I'm going to go try and get a very good rebounder. And Anthony Avent's going to be that guy. If we can get him, he does have another offer currently. It looks like we are going to get both those guys, and I might let Bo Outlaw walk He is 26, so I might just hold on to their rights because we don't need to get rid of him. Now those first 3 days are done. We get to see all the changes to the league, starting with Charles Barkley going to the Chicago Bulls. He's going to join up with Hakeem Olajuwon. Sean Kemp's going to LA, leaving Milwaukee. That is massive money for both those guys. Chris Webber's going to re-up with the Suns. Brad Daugherty's going to go to the Warriors, leaving the Spurs. And there is still a ton of talent out there. Tim Hardaway leaves the Pistons to go to the Celtics. Sean Elliott is going to re-up with the Kings. Isaiah Thomas is going to re-up with the Rockets. Hershey Hawkins is going to re-up with the Grizzlies. Sabonis is going to the Celtics. And like I said, I mean, there's still Scottie Pippen still here, Carmelo still here. These are guys we need to wait for to see where they sign. Gary Payton is taking forever to sign, but Scottie Pippen is going to go to the Pistons. He's leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers. He lost his last game as a Cav. Karl Malone is going to stay in New York. Glenn Rice is going to Toronto, leaving Minnesota. Gary Payton is loving the attention as the last 90 overall to not sign. I can't even see where he went. We're going to get our guys back on qualifying offers. Gary Payton is going to sign with the Vancouver Grizzlies for 4 years, $34 million. That is a massive pickup. The Grizzlies might have won the offseason, and we are looking pretty stagnant now. Into player progression, Michael Jordan's down to a 92, but Kobe Bryant is up to an 88, up 6. Jalen Rose is up 3 to an 82. We have an all 80 plus starting lineup for the first time in franchise history, with Oliver Miller coming off the bench at 80 overall. And some of these guys like Alvin Williams, Andrew DeClercq, maybe even Malik Rose, they are potentially going to get moved here because they did not progress whatsoever. And I want to keep a roster spot open for if we get one of these vets like we got Dominique Wilkins last year. We are now in the Vince Carter, Dirk Nowitzki, Anton Jameson draft here in the 1997-98 season. I want to see if there's any really good free agents that we can scoop up for the minimum like we did last year. And Nick Anderson is here. If we can get him on a minimum, that would be massive. And we can. We have a roster spot for him. And welcome to the team, Nick Anderson. He's going to be our backup shooting guard. Another guy worth bringing back is AC Green. I think the team is full, which it is. We're going to go ahead and trade Andrew DeClercq, try and open up that roster spot. Able to move him and a second-round pick for a first-round pick in 2002. And with that trade done, we will go ahead and get AC Green. And obviously all these guys leave day one or relatively quick, so I see this as a second free agency. I'm only really going to go get 1 or 2 guys every offseason. I think it's kind of cheesy if we get more than 1 or 2 guys, but if there's 1 or 2 guys that want to play for the minimum, which is not necessarily what it's going to be, some of those guys are going to want real money, then I will go get them. And I won't necessarily make too many trades, but I'll make maybe 1 trade and sign 2 guys. Gerard Eaton's up to a 5-star and a 4-star defensive coach. The 10-man rotation looks very strong. Our top 8 are all 80 overall plus. Nick Anderson is coming off a season where he averaged 12 points per game in Chicago. I'm surprised they didn't go re-sign him. He must have wanted a big contract. He started all 81 games. AC Green is still a serviceable player, now coming off the bench. And this team looks very, very good. And Michael Jordan's still our best player on paper. However, I think Kobe Bryant is probably going to be our stat leader. We have created our most dominant team to date at 34-7. I don't think this is the perfect team. We are very strongly in the first seed. However, I don't think, like I said, this is going to be a team that's going to break any records here. We're firmly in the number 1 seed and are going to win our division. Although the Warriors are the 2 seed, are very, very good. Out east, there's some very solid teams. The Boston Celtics are still very good despite losing multiple starters. They have replaced them well. And it's the Sixers with Penny Hardaway and Vin Baker that are the number 1 seed right now. Toronto with Allen Iverson and Glenn Rice are the worst team in the East. And in the West, it's the Sacramento Kings with Sean Elliott and Horace Grant, and that's an interesting team right there. You see some of the best, some of the worst. As we are in full control of this season, we look like favorites to go back-to-back. I want to look at all-star voting here, and Kobe Bryant is number 3. Michael Jordan might not be a all-star anymore. Just kidding. I forgot to move him to small forward. We might have 3 all-stars if Terry Mills can get a couple more votes. That is something to watch. And out in the East, Jason Kidd, Penny Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Charles Barkley is probably going to be the top vote getter. He's still 23. I do need to change his age real quick. I have to do it to Reggie Miller as well. However, he has not had as big of an effect where I think it's like necessary that I need to go track him down immediately. But I am going to go change Charles Barkley's age to what it should be, and it should be, let's see, 12 years pro at 23. I think that makes him 35. I could be a little off on that. I'm gonna give him 34 I might have his birthday off by a year. And Reggie Miller's is working normally, and I think he was a couple years after him, so 87 and then 86. So I'll give Charles Barkley 33. Again, I might be off by a year or two in his age, but I just want to get it close enough. And Terry Mills still wants to test free agency despite just winning a Finals MVP. We will go re-sign Oliver Miller to that contract. I might test the market on Terry Mills, but if it's not something I absolutely love that I think is going to get us better, I'm not going to pull the trigger, and I'm going to just make sure he's a guy we go get in free agency. At 30, he still has life in his career. Looking through, this is really the only trade that's even a vertical trade at this point. I mean, he's a little bit younger, but he has more money. I think he just wants that big payday, which I'm willing to give him, so I'm not sure why he wants to leave, but I'm not even seeing anything that, like I said, is a vertical trade. I mean, they're all just horizontal trades. We're not getting any better from any of these trades. So I'm going to hold on to him, and I'm going to make him play through this contract. And I mean, it's going to suck if he does opt out, but I think winning back-to-back rings, he will sign an extension. I think he just wants to hit the open market to see what his value is. But that is a guy that we cannot afford to lose. However, Terry Mills was not a all-star. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were, but as you see, no Terry Mills. As the season's coming to a close, Terry Mills is out 4 to 6 weeks. Here in February, he should be back for the playoffs, but AC Green is going to start for us once again. And 44-12, like I said, this was going to be a record-breaking team that can go only lose 10 games. This is a team that's going to have their up and downs, but still a very, very solid team nonetheless. And 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes I'm confused by that because that was about 2 weeks, but he's having a very, very good season. And now that I'm here, I'm kind of curious. Kobe at 20, Michael Jordan at 17, we were going to have our first non-Michael Jordan scoring champ. On screen would be the true 1998 award winners, but Scottie Pippen takes home MVP for his new team, the Detroit Pistons. That's potentially a most improved season as well. Only shooting 18% from 3. I think threes are becoming a little bit more prevalent. Tim Duncan wins Rookie of the Year. I don't think anybody expected anything else. Grant Hill wins 6th Man of the Year. Scottie Pippen also wins DPOY. 2.5 steals, 1 block a game. Very, very good numbers. Glenn Robinson wins Most Improved Player with what just looks like a natural jump, so I don't really get that. Gerard Eaton wins Coach of the Year. Our first coach to win Coach of the Year at 61-21. We won our conference. I think this is the second executive of the year that the Fortune franchise has won. Jeffrey Temple is now our executive. I don't remember who the other guy was. Nobody on the All-NBA first team. Nobody on the All-NBA second team. Nobody on any All-NBA teams. I think that's the first time in a long time we've seen that. No Michael Jordan even on any defensive teams. And we're not going to have anybody on rookie teams. So we are number 1 seed. We had no respect from those voting on awards. Crazy to see. We'll take on the Vancouver Grizzlies, as we'll see in a moment. But first, let's get to our stat leaders. We have a couple first-time happenings, starting with Terry Mills being our PER champ, the first time Michael Jordan has not been that. I think this is also the first time we've had 3 players with over a 20 PER. It's also the first time Kobe Bryant has been our scoring champ, and Michael Jordan, first time he is not the scoring champ. He's our 4th leading scorer. Shout out Nick Anderson for being our 5th leading scorer off the bench, straight off the free agency market on a league minimum. Terry Mills leads in rebounds. Like I said, this is a guy we got to go get. Michael Jordan is still our assist champ and our steals champ. Blocks champ is Terry Mills. He's also the most efficient field goal shooter alongside Kobe Bryant, not too far behind him. And I know for a fact Kobe takes threes, and so does Terry Mills at 3 a game, which I think is a higher number. Nick Anderson, by the way, also takes a decent amount of threes. Jalen Rose takes a lot of threes. We're starting to take threes as a team again. As for league leaders, Chris Webber wins the points champ and the rebounds champ. The assist champ is Mark Price. Steals champ is Scottie Pippen, the DPOY. Alonzo Mourning is the blocks champ. Jamal Mashburn is the field goal percentage champ. And Steve Smith shoots over 50% on 2 threes a game, so it's not necessarily a small clip. If you want the leader in probably the most threes as well, it's Ray Allen at 5 a game. He still shot 46% from 3. So as we get into the playoffs here, you see the Gary Payton, Hershey Hawkins, the Dikembe Mutombo is on this team as well. They're on their bench. I don't know what happened to the starting center, so potentially Mutombo starts at center. Marcus Camby is starting at center, and we are better at every position but point guard. I think we should be okay. I hope we're okay against this team. We win game 1, and Lamont Murray goes down with a broken right ankle, and it is tied up at 1-1. Can we take a commanding 2-1 lead? We can. Can we win in 4? We can. Now we're going to face the Minnesota Timberwolves here. This wasn't a team that did well in this offseason, but they still have Alonzo Mourning. They still have Kendall Gill. They still have Michael Finley and Wayman Tisdale. Eric Strickland is definitely their weak point at a 76 overall. I think we are good here. We go up 2-0, and I think we should be able to take care of business here. They make it interesting. It goes 3-2. And 4-2, we get to see Tim Duncan, rookie Tim Duncan, in the conference finals here. And he's not even starting. Larry Johnson, 92 overall. Wow. Okay, so that is just, I'm surprised he didn't win Sixth Man of the Year. That makes sense why his stats were relatively low for what I thought they were going to be. As yeah, Tim Duncan here has been playing well, but has not been starting. Only started 20 games this season. This is a big man heavy team. I think we are the better team still. Dell Curry is here as well, a former Las Vegas Fortune who won a couple rings with us. I think this is a team that maybe could give us some trouble as it's tied up 1-1. We go 2-1, make it 3-1, and 4-1. We are back in the finals here against the Atlanta Hawks, who are starting 68 overall at point guard. David Robinson and Mitch Richmond pretty much dragged this team here. I'm going to be upset if this is not a 4-1 win and we lose game 1. I'm being disrespectful, and so they smack us in the face game 1. They go up 2-1. We tied up at 2-2. If we can just take care of business here, go 3-2, hopefully we can still get our way here and go and win this. However, it might be going to a game 7 again. I would love to just win in 6, not have to worry about it. We are going to take care of business. I will hop in once again. I think it's cool to see that celebration time and time again. 1 second left. You can't get any better than that. 1.1 seconds left. Rik Smits is shooting free throws here with just 4 points. It'll be interesting to see who wins Finals MVP for this team. Obviously, I was covering the stats, but he has not had a good game here to ice the game up 20, a blowout win in game 6 here on the road as well. I think this is the first time that we're going to win a finals on the road here, and all the subs are in, which still includes some very good players here. 141-113 is going to be your final score.
And they've done it, the new NBA champions.
We would like to thank all fans for making it out to tonight.
Oh, to be crowned a champion on the road is something else. To win and to do it with a crowd that was so emotional and so into this game, you've beaten the team and you've conquered everything that this great arena holds.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet moment for the home crowd. But all full credit to the visitors and the amazing job they did to never lose focus or drive. And boy, this is the moment they've been working towards.
I believe that was Rik Smits that just won Finals MVP. To be honest, I was putting in all the information into our spreadsheet here, so I didn't see it. Mitch Richmond played pretty well. Kobe Bryant, 41 points. Michael Jordan, 29 and 13 in the final game. Our 2 shooting guards went to town here, 8 and 23. Played very, very well here. Back-to-back champions. Now we're aiming for a 3-peat, and there it is. The Las Vegas Fortune have won the NBA championship. And Michael Jordan wins Finals MVP. I thought I saw Rik Smits hold up the Finals MVP trophy. Maybe that was just the NBA trophy, but very good numbers from the old man here at age 35, winning his 3rd Finals MVP. A dominant team performance as well in Game 6 to get us ring number 4 here. Do we have anybody retiring on our team? Sleepy Floyd retires, Michael Cage retires, Jules King at 37. Could we potentially have our first auto-generated Hall of Famer? I don't know if he had the peak to be a Hall of Famer, but still a very, very good career from him. Rod Williams also retiring, and we don't have anybody retiring from our team. James Worthy retired and made the Hall of Fame, so no auto-generated Jules Kings in the Hall of Fame. James Worthy also gets his jersey retired. Mid-level exception, this could be huge for us to go sign one of these guys, re-sign a Nick Anderson. That would be huge for the offseason here. This is a very good offseason for this to hit. I would assume we have the last pick in the draft. We have a lottery. We have a lottery pick. I don't know from who. From the Clippers. Doesn't move up from 11. Does not. We stay at 12, and we also have 30. I did not realize I had a lottery pick in this draft. So hopefully my scouts are on their game, and we potentially could go get maybe Vince Carter, maybe Dirk. Do we potentially go get Dirk? I could see myself moving on from Terry Mills if we can move and get Dirk. So the only issue with this is that I don't know what we have to trade, and I don't know where Dirk's gonna go. If he goes number 1, I don't think we can do it because I don't want to give up Rik Smits. I don't want to give up Michael Jordan. Those are really the only guys we can move. I would trade Oliver Miller. Then we would definitely like to get Terry Mills back, but I might push him to the bench. I don't really have any other assets except for draft picks. We will see. Obviously, these Hall of Famers don't slide like they did in real life, so he's going to be one of the top 3 picks here. So starting off the draft, the Phoenix Suns are going to trade the pick. They wanted Michael Jordan from me. I just went and checked. They get Chris Mullin. So now the Rockets are going to go ahead and take Paul Pierce, number 1. And I don't know if I'm going to get nervous here and try and trade too early. Vince Carter goes number 2 to the Jazz. Now Dirk potentially could go here, and I don't know if Anton Jameson is worth moving up and getting. I know he's a very, very good NBA player. So I'm going to try and trade with the Cavs very quickly. The Cavs can't trade their pick. They're not allowed to trade their pick. I'm going to see if I can do it this way, but they may not be allowed to move this pick. They can't. So we need to see if they're going to take Dirk here. If they take Dirk, we'll stay where we are. And they do take Dirk. Guy I was very excited about. 79 overall, which coming in wasn't necessarily the strongest. I don't know what Anton Jameson is, as he will likely go number 4 to the Raptors, who did indeed take him. 6'9" out of North Carolina. He's also 79, so that is good to know. We'll round out the top 5 here real quick with Ralph LaFrance, I believe is how you say his name, 6'11" out of Kansas. We'll sim to our pick. Mike Bibby goes number 6 to the Jazz. Jason Williams, number 8 to the Wizards. Rashard Lewis, number 9 to the Trailblazers. Al Harrington, number 10 to the Heat. Larry Hughes, number 11 to the Magic. So a lot of good players gone. Bonzi Wells is still here. Ricky Davis is still here. Earl Boykins is still here. Mike James is still here. Tyronn Lue is here. A lot of names here that are recognizable still on the board. What do we need? We really don't need anything. Granted, a lot of these guys are potentially gone. I could maybe go get another point guard, or maybe it's a long-term replacement for Clarence Weatherspoon that's going to be a position that's weak soon in small forward. I think Bonzi Wells is potentially the guy we go take here. Maybe Matt Harping. His ceiling is just a starter though at 22 years old. I think Bonzi Wells, a ceiling of an all-star, is potentially the guy we go get, and I'm going to go grab him at number 12. And with number 30, I'm going to get Pat Garrity, a power forward, just in case we can't get Terry Mills and we don't get AC Green. At least we'll have a little bit more depth there, and we can maybe do a power forward by committee thing. Pat Garrity, welcome to the team. And finally, with pick number 46, I believe, I need to find somebody who's actually a real player to pick up here, and I don't know if that's going to be possible here. Nazir Muhammad is going to join the squad just because I don't see anybody else that's a real player. So we got 3 rookies on our team. It's going to be a big progression for last year's rookies, because if they don't progress, we are potentially replacing them with younger guys already. Here is the rest of the draft. Ricky Davis goes number 19. Tyronn Lue goes number 20. Mike James goes 22. I don't really see that many real players being drafted in the 2nd round. Ryan Bowen, I think that is a real face that we saw. Michael Olowokandi, who I think was the number 1 pick to the Clippers. I could be getting those wrong. Goes in the 2nd round, 71 overall. That is low-key a steal for the position that they got him. Terry Mills does decline, which makes this very interesting because we do need to go get him. But of course, bring back Kobe Bryant and Malik Rose. We extend qualifying offers to all 3 of our guys. Jalen Rose is also a must-get for us. And Clarence Weatherspoon, also a guy we need to get. Jalen Rose wants real money. I'm willing to give it to him if he's willing to take a little bit of a pay cut, which I think he will be, because Terry Mills, we do need to throw as much money at him as possible. He potentially is the first $50 million player, and that is fine with me. I am not going to give him a no trade clause because I do want to trade him at some point if he's going to start to regress at 35. Clarence Weatherspoon, I'll give the minimum to, especially if he wants to re-sign for 2 years. We are able to get all of our guys back, and we are going to have to renounce the rights on AC Green, which I'm actually going to renounce this instead, and hopefully go get AC Green or Nick Anderson. And there's not a world we're getting Nick Anderson because he has multiple legit contracts. So he got his ring as a 6-man, proved he's still an NBA level player, and he's going to go play for probably the Timberwolves or the Warriors. However, AC Green has no offers, so I could potentially get him back if we do have money, or he's a guy we can sign again in the beginning of next year. But we got our guys back for sure, which is the most important thing, and we don't have any cap room whatsoever. We are so far over the cap. Patrick Ewing leaves Indiana to go to the Dallas Mavericks on a 2-year, $18 million deal. Terry Mills, 4 years, $40 million. I think that might be the first one to officially break 40. I think there's been a couple 39s. I'm not 100% sure though. Cole Posley, an auto-generated player at 87 overall. Cam Singletary, also auto-generated. So there's a couple auto-generated guys that are becoming very, very good. but a lot of guys just re-signing, it looks like. It makes my job easy here, as we'll go to player progression. And like I said, a lot of these young guys that they better have pretty solid regressions, otherwise we might trade them. Michael Jordan down to 90 overall. He's no longer the best player on the team. Kobe Bryant is he a guy we potentially trade at 35? I don't know. Terry Mills is still getting better. Rik Smits is still getting better. Jalen Rose is still getting better. Alvin Williams is up to a 72 at 23 years old. Malik Rose is still a 72. I think I might trade Malik Rose and Alvin Williams. Those are two guys that are taking up legit money. Clarence Weatherspoon has been our guy. He barely played last year, but 2 years, 105. I might move him as well very quickly. Malik Rose and Paul Graham are going to be traded to Portland for 2 first-round picks in the 2001 and 2000 draft. That'll open up 2 roster spots for what is hopefully a couple solid players in this secondary free agency or buyout market, whatever you want to look at it as. There's always a couple guys that are pretty solid NBA players that get picked up around this, like in real life, this part of the year in like August-ish. So this isn't the most unrealistic thing. However, I don't want to abuse it too much because it is 2K, and obviously you get the first opportunity to get these guys. And Doug West, a shooting guard, that's a very solid pickup. We're going to go ahead and snatch him up if he wants the money, and he does not. See, this is the other thing. Every once in a while, you don't get guys that want to play for nothing. Yeah, this is a group of guys that all still think that they deserve money, which is perfectly fine, but none of them want to sign. And again, that's the risk you run. That's why some of these guys are here. They refuse to play for the minimum. We've just gotten lucky. This hopefully isn't something that keeps us afloat, but it just makes us better. And hopefully this isn't what costs us a championship. I think we still have a very good core without these types of guys. And so 10-man rotation it is for Gerard Eaton in year 4. Very similar team. However, the bench looks a lot weaker. I still think this is a team that is 10 deep. Gives guys like Bonzi Wells an opportunity to replace a Clarence Weatherspoon, to replace a Lamont Murray. So I think this is a team that's very good. It also auto-signed us Nate McMillan to start the season, which I'm okay with. Somehow a 1 seed, realistically we're a 2 seed, realistically we're a 3 seed. We just have more wins than some of these teams. They have less losses than us. So we are a little bit more competitive this year at 27-13. Kobe Bryant is the leading vote getter out west. Jalen Rose is up here. This is really exciting to see that we have multiple guys that can go out and get it. Michael Jordan might not even be an all-star. Terry Mills definitely is not. However, I think it was worth paying him. And here are the potential all-stars from out east. Really, it shows you the top 40 players instead of just like the top 10, 15. See from the All-NBA teams. I don't think we've had that many trades here. This is something I forget to look at. Manute Bol and Terry Cummings are traded for each other. Clyde Drexler's traded to the Magic. Malik Rose, that was us. Chris Millen gets traded to the Rockets from the Suns. Might have been the other way around. Sometimes I'm not 100% sure how to read those. I do forget to do that from time to time. Love that we're not the only team making trades now. And speaking of trades, this is something I was pondering. Is it time? I think I need to look at what his value is at this point. And his value at this point is to hold on to him. He's 90 overall. He's on the back end of his career. He's a legendary player. We missed our opportunity to trade him, which is fine. It's Michael Jordan. He's still a 90 overall. He's still going to be our 3rd, 4th best player. But you're seeing the guys that we're getting back in this return. Nothing that's really makes me want to move on from a legacy guy for this team. Although he is 100% on the back end of his career, he might retire relatively soon, which would be an absolute shock. Clarence Weatherspoon might be a guy I try and move on from real quick. It's been a guy I've been meaning to trade for multiple years at this point. At 73, if I can get anything for him, I'm happy, and then we'll get back to simming. I'm gonna go ahead and trade him to New York for this 1st-round pick, and I'm gonna waive Zach Curry, which opens up a roster spot for me to go sign somebody in free agency. Round out the team, we're gonna get Eric Snow, just another point guard on the roster, so we at least have a little bit more depth there. And I think the pick was worth it. Clarence Weatherspoon was a guy that, like I said, I've been trying to get rid of for a couple years now, and it's going to open up some playing time for other guys. And I'm going to go ahead and waive Zach Curry real quick, and then we'll get right back into simulating. Because we're not going to trade Michael Jordan, I am going to sign him to an extension. I'm going to sign him to a 3-year extension, try and lock him in for a cheaper amount of money. And I don't necessarily know if he'll take it, but I'm not giving him a trade clause. I'm not giving him a player. Actually, I will give him a player option just because it'll let me lower the amount of money I can offer him, and he'll still take it. And he's declined that, and so I'll try again, but we are going to re-sign Michael Jordan to a player option 3-year contract here. Keep him around for 5 more years. He's really the only guy that we need to re-sign, and we're just going to continue simming. Every single time I do one of these and I think I'm going faster, I look down and we've been recording for 42 minutes and we're only 2 seasons in, but that's what happens when we are competing. It is a lot harder to get through seasons very quickly with the detail I want to give it, which is why there's so many episodes, and which is also why I don't necessarily know if I'm going to get to modern day by the end of the series. Like I said, I might just end it at an era switch, or maybe when Kobe retires, something like that. Just there is a way to end this where it's not necessarily modern day, because modern day is also a very harsh ending. Here are the 1999 real life award winners. Chris Webber wins MVP. Antoine Jameson wins Rookie of the Year. Tim Duncan wins Sixth Man of the Year, which was bound to happen at some point. Kevin Garnett wins DPOY. Austin Crochet wins Most Improved. Gerard Eaton back-to-back Coach of the Year. However, we do not get a back-to-back Executive of the Year. We are exactly one game better than we were last year at 62-20. Kobe Bryant on the All-NBA second team is great to see. And we have no other award winners whatsoever, so now it's the Kobe Bryant show. Kobe and MJ once again are only two All-Stars out west. Like I said, 62-20, we will play the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's look at our stats real quick. Happy to see another new face as our PER champ. Kobe Bryant up to a 95 overall. He's also our leading scorer, our only 20-point per game scorer. Terry Mills still the rebound champ, but Rik Smits is right there like usual. A great pickup, even though he's not a statistics guy. Still a very, very solid pickup. Jalen Rose is our assist champ. Michael Jordan still our steals champ. Oliver Miller is our block champ. Very solid backup big. We have two very solid shot blockers. Terry Mills is going to get the field goal champion from me. Kobe's going to be our 3-point field goal champion as well. Looking at the league, MVP Webber is the points champ. Kevin Garnett is the rebounds champ. Gary Payton is the assist champ. Jason Kidd's the steals champ. KG is the block champ. Chris Webber is the field goal champ. And Reggie Miller is the 3-point champ. So, like I said, we're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. They have Sean Kemp here. They have Muggsy Bogues. I don't necessarily know. On paper, this doesn't look like a team that we need to deal with that heavily. And really, it's Sean Kemp. He came here just to put up stats, it looks like. And I think this is a team that every time I disrespect a team, they take game one. But Rik Smits goes down. And we are beat up a little bit. I am going to shorten the rotation just a hair. I don't know if Nate McMillan, especially Cold, needs to be playing in the playoffs. So we're going to go ahead and simulate the round here. We're going to go down. We're down 2-1. I don't like that. And we lose in 3. I don't know why I didn't simcast there. From back-to-back champs to first round exit. Wow. And the Lakers go on all the way. I disrespected them. Oh my god, they had T-Mac on the bench. I disrespected them so hard. T-Mac must have been hurt or is on the bench. Oh my god. That is an insane way to end the 1990s. Next year's 2000. Oh my god. I completely overestimated how good we were and underestimated how bad that team was. And history is cyclical. If you look back at the history of this team, you will see 1986-87, we win a championship. 87-88, we win a championship. We lose in the first round. The Los Angeles Lakers win a championship. Go to the 90s. You go to 96-97, we win. 97-98, we win. 98-99, the Lakers win. Both decades we've simulated. We win in the 7 and the 8 of the decade. And in the 9 of the decade, the Lakers come back and win the championship. Crazy how history works like that. So that'll do it for me. Only got 2 seasons in, was hoping to get a little bit more in, but we are at 46 minutes already. So like I said, when we are like rolling and in the playoffs, these seasons get a little bit longer. When we suck and we lose in the first round, I can cut out like 10 minutes, but I would rather go slower, go more detailed, and get more seasons and just end it a little bit earlier. I am trying to get to a decent ending, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because what I think is a good ending and a good storybook way to end the series, other people might not agree with. It is what it is. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and hopefully we can go get a championship, and it hopefully isn't 8 more